2 games to go, one final weekend to sharpen the blades before the postseason. And tonight, it begins with a possible playoff preview between 2 of the league's fiercest competitors. Good evening, Crustacean Nation, and welcome to your view of the Columbus Civic Center for a pivotal late-season showdown between the Athens Rock Lobsters and the Columbus River Dragons, streaming exclusively on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe to play a part in our world-famous chat, and ring the bell to stay notified of all future Rock Lobster content. My name's Mateen Rad, bringing you all the action as we count down the final moments of the regular season. The Rock Lobsters, currently second in the Continental Division, are coming off of a 4-1 loss to Binghamton in their home finale Wednesday night. They'll look to bounce back behind this man, Garrett Milan, the FPHL's leading scorer and our Fan Saves Impact Player of the Game, who sits just 2 points shy of 100 on the season. Meanwhile, the River Dragons are surging, fresh off a sweep in Monroe and winners of 4 straight. Cody Wickline leads the charge after a monster 7-point weekend and is tonight's Fan Saves Impact Player for Columbus. The Fan Saves Impact Player segment is brought to you by Fan Saves. Download the Fan Saves app and follow the Athens Rock Lobsters to unlock exclusive digital coupons and discounts from businesses that support your favorite team. As the Columbus River Dragons announce their starting 5, we'll take a look at the starters for the Rock Lobsters tonight. In net, William Lavalier. On defense, Zach Papapetros and Troy Murray. Up front, Garrett Milan, Daniil Glukarioff, and Orca Weisblatt. The team physician is Dr. Alec Graff, provided by Piedmont Athens Regional. The Akins Ford engine starters are brought to you, of course, by Akins Ford, Georgia's biggest and best Ford dealership. Is the first place spot still up for grabs? Well, we'll keep a look in Monroe for their game against Carolina. That starts at around 8 p.m. and see what happens. Athens is out to make a statement. Columbus is looking to defend their ice. Let's settle in. Let's tune in as your boys go to war. Lobsters, Dragons, let's drop the puck. But first, the national anthem here in the Columbus Civic Center. A rockin' national anthem as the Lobsters try to rock the River Dragons here in Columbus. Crustacean Nation, it's time to gear up before playoff season. Our Spring Into Savings sale is happening now through Sunday evening with 25 to 30% off select items online at shop.rocklobstershockey.com. Hoodies, hats, and more while supplies last. And for everyone who's been waiting, the moment is finally here. Our red, navy, and white game replica jerseys are officially restocked. Grab yours online or at the team store. These never stay on the shelves long, so don't miss your shot. We had the ceremonial face-off between two former teammates, Kirk Underwood and Carter Shinkarik, the two captains for these two teams. Carter Shinkarik, the top scoring defenseman in the FPHL, but has been deployed as a forward as of late. We'll see if that remains the case in these last two regular season games for the Rock Lobsters, especially as head coach Steve Martinson tries to tune up his squad going into the playoffs, potentially against the Columbus River Dragons starting Wednesday. We will keep you as updated as we can on that, of course. That could shift. Potentially the Rock Lobsters could leapfrog the Carolina Thunderbirds once again. But, of course, you would need a result for the Monroe Moccasins, who have already been eliminated out of the Commissioner's Cup playoffs. Baton Rouge and Blue Ridge cemented into the wild card spots. Looks like we're ready to go here, just about here at Columbus Civic Center. Garrett Milan over the opening draw, but it's Hunter Bersani who wins it. Columbus trying to work it in on the right side. It's poked over the center of the blue line by Alexander Jemayev. Glukarioff around the end boards, picked up by Troy Murray in the far corner. Lets it run on the right boards. William Lavalier coming up against his former team, a former fan favorite here at the Columbus Civic Center. Troy Murray up the right side, takes a piece of the linesman off the post of the net. Zach Papapetros with speed behind the net of Lavi. Weisblatt steps on the brakes right in front of the bench. Papapetros over to Murray, as these two are the starting pair on the defensive side for the Rock Lobsters. Murray, backhand flip up the right side. Kason Gallant fresh on the ice, finds Philip Virgili. Settles it down with a skate. Left circle, drop pass in behind. Malik Johnson gets a blade of his stick to it. Philip Virgili, beautiful centering feed. Kason Gallant got his left skate, but none of his stick on that beautiful centering feed from Virgili. Virgili tries to set up somebody from the office once again, but traffic out in front deflects that puck. Taken away from the Rock Lobsters in the offensive zone. Malik Johnson, down to a knee, couldn't fire the shot off. Johnson down to a knee once again, has the puck in behind, backhands it towards the front of the crease. Michael Greco with a step up, and another former River Dragon here. Colatarsi with a rip. Nice blocker save from Trevor Babin, who's one of the newest River Dragons on this team, recently acquired in trade from the Motor City Rockers. We recently saw him in Motor City. He took the loss against the Rock Lobsters, but he also dropped the gloves against Malik Johnson. We'll see if that is a storyline at some point in this game. Avery Smith looking for Picard, not going to find him. Shinkarik lets it drip down for Cody Wickline, who's the hot man at the moment for the Columbus River Dragons. Colatarsi into the neutral zone, finds Shinkarik on the left side. Does look like Shinkarik getting deployed at forward once again. Good forecheck here by the ice pick, Brandon Picard. River Dragons get it out from behind the goal line, picked up on the right side of the defensive zone by Lind. Lind looking for a centering feed off the pad of Lavalier, and luckily some great defensive work from the Rock Lobsters prevented the rebound on the shot. Kyle Powell getting into the lineup tonight. Looks like we've got a whistle. There's a couple players tied up. Hunter Bersani barking at Kyle Powell, and he might be barking up the wrong tree, and tree is a good description for Powell, who stands at 6'6". Scott Doherty in the mix there as well. That would be a fun heavyweight fight to see. Doherty at 6'5" against Powell at 6'6". I want to thank all of you again for joining us here tonight on this broadcast from the Columbus Civic Center. If you haven't already, make sure you like the stream, subscribe to play a part of our world-famous chat, and also ring the bell to stay notified of all future Rock Lobster content. Big pass doesn't go to plan for Weisblatt, sent back in. Picked up on the near side by Doherty, catches Lavalier up high, who then gets the oven mitt over it. Second shot on goal for the River Dragons in this game. That will give them the advantage at 2-1. This has been a rivalry in every sense of the word, and right now the River Dragons are trying to at least even the spoils on the season. Columbus 4-6 against the Rock Lobsters on the year. A lot of that having to do with that home stretch against the River Dragons for the Rock Lobsters, in which they took 3 straight against them. Good takeaway from Troy Murray out of the near corner. It's sent back in by Underwood at the point. Poked away from Jemayev, who slashes at Milan, and the Rock Lobsters will have the first power play of this game. Easy slash call to be made there against Jemayev, who's also played pretty well as of late. Ty Benton asking, is that 6'6" with or without skates? I think they do the measurements without skates. I could be wrong. I wouldn't mind getting measured with skates. I'm 6'3" or 6'4", depending on which convenience store I'm leaving. Rock Lobsters on the Paloma Park power play. If they score on the quadruple P, they will earn fans free churros at Paloma Park for 24 hours through the FanSaves app. Just another great reason to download FanSaves, courtesy of 23 Design. Looking for a little tip out in front was Glukaryov. Jousting for it in front of the crease was Virgili, but it's sent 200 feet down the ice by the River Dragons. Lavalier in that imaginary trapezoid behind the net. Kaysen Gallant, the Red Deer Rocket, with a little bit of speed up the right side. Good defensive work, but it spills out to Glukaryov at the line. Centering feed from Weisblatt. Banks off the far boards for Milan. Glukaryov looking for an option. He always has one in Garrett. Milan from the right circle now, getting hassled by Storjahan. Gets the pass off to Glukaryov. Milan with a little wrister off the end boards and sent out by Lind. Rock Lobsters will go to their second unit here. And Glukaryov was running the point on that first power play for the Rock Lobsters. I'm wondering if Steve Martinson has constructed a very strong second unit here. We've got Malik Johnson, Avery Smith, Brandon Picard, Carter Shinkarik, and Zach Papapetros. Papapetros with a hard pass, picked back up by Shinkarik, gets himself into the slot with some dance moves, but then it's taken away from him, and once again the River Dragons will have the clearance. Shinkarik, centering feed, Picard on the left side, backhand flip finds Johnson, but there was a extra step in there by Avery Smith. And we go to the first immediate timeout of this game. The Rock Lobsters looking for their first goal of the night to take the lead. They're currently on the Paloma Park power play for 24 seconds, but no score just yet. UGA football player Amarius Mims suffered a serious injury. The quality care from the Piedmont team changed his life.
As a football player, my body is everything to me. When I got injured, I was worried about my
future in the game. But you and your team's expertise, care, and support reassured me from the start. I've been able to recover because of the quality care I received at Piedmont, and I am back playing at my full potential on the field. I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me, my family, and my future. Your help means the world to me, and I'll always be grateful for your part in keeping my dreams alive.
How you doing?
Well, I didn't know you were going to be here.
Yes, sir.
I'm so proud of you. So happy for you. It gives me joy to see you out there on the field doing your thing. You look good.
Appreciate you.
It's a good-looking ankle.
I'm trying to tell you.
A little more than 5 minutes gone here in the first period. The Rock Lobsters trying to warm up here in the Columbus Civic Center, for which my money is on them having the potentially coldest arena in the FPHL. I always feel like I have to melt my joints to write the recap whenever the game is done here. Face-off going to happen right in front of the Columbus penalty box. Shinkarik against McDonald, two of the league's very best. Shinkarik, with the help of Picard, wins the face-off. Malik Johnson trying to treat Slahetka like a saloon door. Sent into the near side. Avery Smith with a poke at it, able to keep it in Rock Lobster possession. Backhand flipper over to Shinkarik, doesn't find him. And the Columbus River Dragons, with the fourth best PK in the FPHL, are able to kill off the Rock Lobsters' opening power play. Sent around the end boards by Loic Plouffe, a college prospect signing for the Columbus River Dragons. And actually, you can't call him a college prospect signing. More on that later, as a beautiful centering feed from Moore is off the pads of Lavalier. Poked to the far side. Papa Petros takes a hit. Returns the favor on Hunter. Picard. Over to Smith, who will dump in as the Rock Lobsters make a change. Avery Smith will hope to log a goal against his former teammate, Trevor Babin, the 6'5", 30-year-old out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Whistled in by Columbus. Powell got there first, but it let it run for Kyle Moore. Got himself in a good position to shoot, but it hit the traffic out in front. Columbus with a good spell here. Looking for a tip. In front of the net was Hatcher. That's Nash Hatcher, the 25-year-old. Another one of these college prospect signings out of Adrian College. And there's been more of those for the River Dragons as of late, but you can't really call them college prospect signings, more of those developmental prospect signings, because a lot of them out of Canadian junior leagues. Good pickups from Jerome Pichard. Lind. Nice little deke around one Rock Lobster. Couldn't get around two Crustaceans. Weisblatt with a hit in the end boards, able to free up the puck. Virgili helps it onto the stick of Orca Weisblatt. Poked away from him by Nathan Balkwill. Not really any high percentage opportunities thus far for either team. Orca Weisblatt able to keep it in his good graces. Returned to him by Glukaryov. Murray at the line, recently coming off a 2-goal performance against the Baton Rouge Zydeco. That one's through the stick of Riley Robertson and into neutral ice. Loic Plouffe, the youngster, with a great defensive move to send the River Dragons the other way. That one missed the net. River Dragons working in behind here. Right circle shot. Plouffe was unable to hit the cage. Sent back in from the point from Slahetka. River Dragons having more of the fluidity offensively right now. Another pad save from Lavalier from that blue line shot. Glukaryov hustling to try and get there. Stuck back in by Columbus. Turnaround shot at the goal line. So much momentum on that one from Balkwill that'll send it out of the zone. Kirk Underwood. River Dragons trying to create some momentum from their home office. 9 minutes gone here in the first period. 11 still to go. Must have hit something because no icing, say the officials. Michael Greco. Shinkarik not going to get there. But he got something to it as well. Picard picks it up. Challenges Babin. Shinkarik from the left circle. able to whip a shot that gets blocked by McDonald. Shots on goal currently in favor of the hometown team, 4-2. Papapetros committed some sort of penalty there, and he's going to get called for 2 minutes. Looks like it's going to be a slash going against the Rock Lobsters Athenian anchor, Zach Papapetros. Oh no, it's going to be against Columbus. To be honest, I didn't really see much between it from either party. But it will be the Rock Lobsters that go back to the quadruple P for the second time tonight. Slash called against Kyle Moore. Glukharioff with Gallant, Weisblatt, Milan, and Virgili. Gallant, left circle. Pass with a lot of mustard on it over to Milan on the far side. Weisblatt in the slot. Great shot and a great save from Babin, who then punches out at Virgili. Babin is known for having a little bit of that in his game. Believe he's led the league in penalty minutes as a goaltender 3 different times. Not leading the whole league, but among goaltenders, the most penalty minutes 3 seasons in a row for Babin. Good stop there from Columbus at their own blue line. Lavalier had a save to make there, but not really put under real pressure. Gallant leading this league in power play goals, trying to play playmaker here. Milan in and around. Gallant was heading towards the bench. Glukharioff had to make a play there, ends up poking it back into the offensive ice. Another good memory there from Nashville Preds in the chat, remembering that Babin and Malik Johnson duked it out at one point this year. That one confusing. Not sure if the puck is in the net, but 2 or 3 bodies are. We've got a horn here that will send us to the media timeout. Let's see if I got a look at what happened there. The Rock Lobsters playing with it in their own zone here on this replay. Picard loses it, and a little diving poke check there. I believe it was from Bersani. Well, we're going to a commercial timeout here. The Rock Lobsters still on the power play for the second time tonight, looking to try and capture a lead here in the Columbus Civic Center. Stay tuned with us here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network.
At Athens Stonecasting, Don Hill oversees acres of sculptures poured from thousands of molds, endless possibilities for neighbors who envision unique gardens. Craig Meeks at First American Bank and Trust caught that vision. Together, Don and Craig create solutions that keep the business teeming with new gifts for the garden. Vision. It's one of the core convictions we live by. Learn more about what we stand for at firstamericanishere.com. First American Bank and Trust.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon your toilet will clog again.
What if it won't flush?
We'll always repair it.
Nobody puts baby in a flooded corner.
Maybe I should still fix it.
You had me at hello. We've got same-day service.
Plumbing completes me.
"35 seconds to go on this Paloma Park power play. The Rock Lobsters' second of the night. Kyle Moore in the sin bin for 35 more seconds due to slashing. Shinkarik with the face-off win, but Malik Johnson kind of with the save out in front there because it was going hot and heavy towards Lavalier's net. Papapetros. Shinkarik on the right side, showing off that speed and stick handling once again. Tries to feed Malik Johnson on the right side. It will eventually reach him. Miscue of a pass from the Rock Lobsters. 2-on-1 the other direction. No finish there from McDonald. Now Stafora, who made that passing mistake, trying to redeem himself on it, ends up getting taken away from him. Shinkarik wins it back. Stafora whips a shot, wipes out in the meantime. A 3-on-1, but Kyle Moore spills with the puck. Still an opportunity for the River Dragons that they can't convert on, and Lavalier has lost his goalie stick behind the goal line. I have to admit, a bit of a comedy of errors between both teams there. Not sure what happened. The clock temporarily stopped here. And it looks like the River Dragons will go a man up here. Extra attacker on as Babin is at the bench. Touch of the puck from Kolatarsi. And now we will go to the Leslie Jones Law penalty kill for the first time tonight. Malik Johnson will sit for a cross check. Rock Lobsters, first offense for them tonight. Strong, skilled, strategic defense. When you think those words, you think Leslie Jones Law. Now, the Columbus River Dragon penalty kill is very, very good. We have already seen that twice tonight, but the Rock Lobsters have the second best PK in the league, just 1 point behind the Carolina Thunderbirds in first place. Columbus, big face-off win. Slehetka trying to put it through skates towards Lavalier. Slehetka, pensive in the right circle, was able to get it through skates this time, but couldn't find the backdoor feed. Around the end board, Slehetka in the near corner. Tried to pass it back towards the line, but that puck never reached Nash Hatcher. Kolatarsi almost got it to Glukaryov. Cody Wickline, the danger man for the River Dragons at this moment. The youngster, Nash Hatcher, centering feed in behind. Slehetka didn't know where it was. It's hard off his skates and out of the pressure area for the Rock Lobsters. Nice little trip around the world for Brody Thornton. Carter Shinkarik will send that back down towards Babin. Brody Thornton, he was received by Columbus in that trade with the Baton Rouge Zydeco. That's the same trade that sent Sammy Bernard to the Bayou. Here's Moore. McDonald back to Moore on the right side. Virgili tries to whack it out of midair. It's in between his legs, and Riley Robertson finishes that clearance job. Here's Moore again, trying to spearhead this power play. Gets to the right circle. Oh, what a goal there from Moore. Really, really smart move as he began the wraparound, started to go hard towards behind Lavalier's net, but at the last moment released a shot. A power play goal opens up the scoring for Columbus, and it's now 1-0 River Dragons. You've got to applaud a clever move when you see one, and Kyle Moore with his 10th of the year. 26-year-old is coming off of his best year of pro hockey last season, where he scored 24, had assisted 49 goals for a 73-point season here in Columbus. Not the start that the Rock Lobsters were looking for, and mind you, the storyline between these two teams in the past, the winner has often gone to the team that has a better performance with their special teams on the night. Looks like someone's called a timeout here. Seeing some personnel on the ice, so perhaps there's an issue with either some technology or something with the rink. We're going to go to a commercial break. Stay tuned with us here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. Looks like we got a pane of glass to repair here.
Maybe not today.
Honey, the sink is overflowing!
Okay, I'll call a plumber.
Need a plumber? Need a pro? When you need a plumber, call a pro. Plumber Pro.
When you're the leader, disaster cleanup and restoration, how do you make like it never even happened happen? Fire it up, Randy! By being prepared for anything! Whatever comes your way, there's a pro for that.
Serve Pro, like it never even happened.
After the goal from Kyle Moore, his 10th of the year, we'll do the face-off at the center of the ice. Pane of glass fixed here in the rink, which led to the timeout. Milan with a face-off win against Bersani. Weisblatt gets it taken away from him by the big body of Doherty. Sent in by Somerov, Justin Somerov, first time we've said his name. Forward out of New Ipswich, New Hampshire. Weisblatt in on the trapezoid behind Lavalier. Athens trying to get that rock rolling down the hill. Good defensive move there by Nash Hatcher. Was a two-time ACHA national champ with Adrian College. Look at the burst here from the Castleton grad, Papa Petros. Wins it in the end boards, looking for Weisblatt out in front. Batted out into the middle of the air here. Kolatarsi from the far side, taken away by Wickline. Athens is a team that has played well from behind this season, especially as of late, where the first period hasn't always been their friend. They've been a strong second and third period team. Stafora hacking at Lind. Lind takes it away. Traverses over the line. Good work with a stick there from Robertson as he was unable to get the backhand shot off. Riley Robertson picks it up in his own ice. Smith got something on that one, but possession stays with Thornton and the River Dragons. Underwood with a dropper. Gets past Murray, who was trying to hug the boards on the near side. Stafora whips it in. Sends Shinkarik on a chase. Smith gets it free for Stafora. Big shot. Babin didn't know where it was. I think that one might have deflected off his helmet. Shinkarik out to Murray. Murray. Smith there to sweep that back towards Shinkarik. Tip on that pass from McDonald. Here come the River Dragons looking dangerous again. Kyle Moore, high slot shot, hard off the glass. Big hit on the near side from Hunter. Moore, the goal scorer, will wrap around the net this time. Faked it on his goal. Oh, he almost got the wraparound goal that time. How about that? Lavalier doing enough to make sure that his net wasn't rippled for the second time by Moore. Papa Petros, Malik Johnson. Tip off of his stick. Babin with a play on it. Slehetka bobbled it a little bit. But the River Dragons will still be able to play out of their zone. Bersani off the boards. That puck is out of play. We go back to immediate timeout. The Rock Lobsters trying to tie this one up before we go into the first intermission. 2 minutes to go. Rock Lobsters down 1-0.
When you're the Athens Rock Lobsters' biggest enforcer, life can get pretty messy. That's when Justin Portillo calls Crawford Laundry. Justin Portillo only trusts Crawford Laundry to get his toughest game day stains out in plenty of time for the next one.
Since we opened in 1968, we've taken pride in our professional staff. Unparalleled customer service is our legacy. Experience the best, skilled hands and friendly faces. At Stanfield Air Systems, satisfaction is not just a guarantee, it's our tradition. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
Crustacean Nation, it's time to gear up before playoff season. Our Spring in a Savings sale is happening now through Sunday evening with 25 to 30% off select items on the shop.rocklobstershockey.com website. Hoodies, hats, and more while supplies last. And for everyone who's been waiting, the moment is finally here. Our red, navy, and white game replica jerseys are officially restocked. Grab yours online or at the team store. Remember, these never stay on the shelves long, so don't miss your shot to get one now. Virgili winning the faceoff there against Hatcher in the center of the arena. Gallant around the half wall to Malik Johnson in the near corner. Papa Petros saves it at the line, looking for a tip out in front from Malik Johnson. Well played first period by the River Dragons. Ooh, Virgili with an unintentional feed to Wickline out in front. Wickline should have opted for the shot, instead tried the feed to Storjahan. Less than a minute and a half to go in this first period. Virgili wins it back. Able to get it towards Gallant. Gallant almost juggling it. Settles it down for Papa Petros. Babin. Clever play there as Glukaryov was heading his way. Milan Banker around. Greco to Kolatarsi. Weisblatt tries to force it through on the near side. Greco went for the hit on Jemayev. Lind had the ice open up for him, but then it closed quickly thanks to the defensive pressure from Athens on the back check. Garrett Milan, a good win back here off of Lind. Milan tries the tight angle shot. Babin was hugging that post. Spills out past Greco. Jemayev almost took it away from Greco, but snow right in front of the Rock Lobster bench killed the momentum of that biscuit. Kolatarsi fires it right at Babin as the last seconds of this first period trickle off the clock. The River Dragons struck first, but the Rock Lobsters will hope that they didn't strike best as we go into the first intermission with a 1-0 River Dragons lead. A power play goal and a clever move from Kyle Moore as he faked the wraparound, and before heading into the office in behind Lavalier was able to snap a shot right beforehand. Clever move from Kyle Moore to open up the scoring in this one. We still await the opening puck drop as well for the game between the Carolina Thunderbirds and the Monroe Moccasins. That's going to be one to watch tonight. Let's take a look at the scores around the league. Port Huron Prowlers with a 1-0 advantage over their in-state foes in the Motor City Rockers. Binghamton Black Bears with a potential preview of the Empire Division Finals, up 3-1 against the Danbury Hat Tricks. Venom HC up 2-0 against the Watertown Wolves. Right now, the most interesting scoreline to watch, Dashers HC up 2-1 against the Blue Ridge Bobcats. All the teams trying to tune up before the playoffs besides those that are already eliminated. The only movement I believe that can happen in either division is that the Rock Lobsters are able to potentially leapfrog the Carolina Thunderbirds. Well, that was a big point in contention of me and my conversation and head coach Steve Martinson. Here is our weekly Coach's Corner. Here's my talk with Coach Marty. Hello again, Crustacean Nation, and welcome back to Coach's Corner on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. At the time of recording, the team is coming off of splitting a 2-game set against the reigning Commissioner's Cup champions, the Binghamton Black Bears. The Rock Lobsters are going into the final 2 games of the regular season in a weekend on the road against the Columbus River Dragons. Matt Rad, play-by-play voice of the team, joined as always by head coach Steve Martinson. Coach Marty, that series against Bingo felt like everything we thought it was going to be, a high-paced clash between the two of the league's best. It's the first time the two teams have faced off. Do you feel like you felt the difference between playing the Black Bears as opposed to other teams in this league?
Well, they're a good team, so other teams listen to these, so I'm going to watch what I say. But they're certainly, you can see why they're top in their division. They're very deep. They're deep with defense. Their goaltending's really good, and they got all 3 lines can score, so they're definitely they're the team to beat in the North for sure.
In that first game, we just exploded for offense in the second period. Avery Smith with an absolute beauty of a goal, and then 2 from Kason Gallant. It felt like there were 3 goals in that second period that were generated by the team's speed, and that's keeping in mind how quick a team Binghamton is as well. It looked like the same exact identity that we've seen from the team all season long. Was that the plan, or were there tweaks that you had planned for to deal with the Black Bears' strengths?
Well, that division is weaker than ours, and I think their defense had a little trouble with our speed. I don't think they've seen that. Certainly from 3 lines, they can skate like we can. So I'm sure they're on their heels a little bit. And, I thought we played a physical game too. So, as far as their team goes, we made some good plays. I thought we outplayed them, and I thought that the score was, obviously they got back in it with the power play, empty netters if they're, when they pulled the goalie. But it was a little bit frustrating at the end, and I think that gave them a little bit of momentum going into the second game.
And that leads me into my next question. As you mentioned, they scored all 3 of their goals in the third period, all on the power play, and 2 of them came with the net empty. Your group is known for never backing down, but how did you feel about the team's physical push and level of challenge as the game kind of wound down there?
Well, I liked our physicality during the whistle. I didn't like the stuff after. The calls that we had, and we were warned that they talk a lot and they don't want to back it up. It's typical. They're, it's all talk and no dropping the gloves. So, we got a couple of calls where we pushed guys. The one, the one on Zach I didn't like because, the guy's ripped his stick out of his hands and he gives him a little push and, that gives him the power play. And Murray's got to, he got to pick his spots of, that's another thing. It's a push after the play. And same thing with Carter. Carter's penalty was, not during the play. It was afterwards. And sure enough, it's the bad penalties that sometimes hurt you more because, you're killing off a weak penalty and instead of, you go run somebody through the boards and it's like, okay, let's kill this off. It's a great hit. So we shot ourselves in the foot a little bit. And same thing with the goals against on the, in the first period, the next night, we just shot ourselves in the foot. We didn't defend well.
That would end up making Kason Gallant's hat trick goal the game winner in that one. And Kason is the first Rock Lobster to log multiple hat tricks and do it against one of the best teams in the league and one of the best goaltenders as well.
You know so well what it takes to succeed at all the different levels of pro hockey. What do you think is the ceiling for Galley as he just seems to keep getting better and better?
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly the top rookie in the league, and their defenseman Bones a pretty good. He's a pretty good rookie too, and we're getting a ton out of Gallant and Kaysen. He works hard, he skates, he shoots on the rush. He's got a great one timer. He's good around the net. He's not afraid to go to the front of the net. I mean, him and Milan are a couple of guys that they're not our biggest guys, but they're always in the greasy areas, and that's why they lead the team in goals.
William Lavalier was just so good in that game, and the scoreline didn't show just how much he stood on his head in that performance. Seeing how important he's become and the types of performances he's had, do you feel surprised at all that he didn't stick in Columbus or Monroe at all?
Well, I mean, it is just so competitive for goalies because of there's only so many spots to go around. So it's and more and more NHL teams are signing two goalies and pushing them down to the coast. So it's really hard for guys to get in. And then if you don't get in your first year or two, you kind of get looked over in that, okay, you might be good enough. You're just not getting the opportunity because there's just every year there's so many guys coming from junior or from college or Canadian college. So it's tough for goalies to crack in, especially if they don't do it right away.
Bingo came out and won the next night 4-1 in what was a much more rough and tumble game. Besides just all the penalties, what else do you think was different between night 2 and night 1?
Well, I thought the biggest, we turned the puck over on the power play, entering the zone instead of getting it deep, and there's nobody backing up. That was a tough one to watch, and we didn't defend well on the first goal. We just stood there and watched and let the guys skate right around. It wasn't like they made really good plays to get goals. We just kind of, here's a scoring chance. So, and on the first one, they had a double screen. Our defenseman was screening it. They do things well. They had guys in front of the net. They go to the net well, but I thought really that the biggest plus for them is the ridiculous 14 minutes of penalties that Milan gets in the first period. So you're taking your best player out, really for the entire first period, and that's where that gives them momentum, and it breaks up one of the top scoring lines in the league. And we should have been on the power play from that, and how that two defensemen grab him in front of the net, one's pushing him from behind, one's pushing him, grabbing him around the neck and rips his helmet off, and it's just a ridiculous call. And then the 10-minute, it's so frustrating, and it put me in a bad mood because I'm looking at it as what is possibly being called here. So that was really frustrating, and I thought it certainly helped Binghamton immensely.
I promise, Coach, I'm not trying to get you in trouble here, so feel free to give me the old no comment if you wish. But Dakota Bone was thrown out of that game for a high hit to the head that would ultimately be rescinded by the league and declared as an elbowing major instead. What was your reaction to the call in the moment, and what did you make of the league's decision to adjust it?
Yeah, I'm so done with it. I don't even, we get guys that, throw a couple of punches and it's a game misconduct, and you get guys, literally trying to injure players and headshots. And it's ridiculous. It's been ridiculous all year, and it's just frustrating, and there's just no rhyme or reason to it. But, we've been, we haven't had any shots where we've gotten guys suspended. We're probably the least suspended team in the league. And a couple of the ones that we've had, they shouldn't have been, you punch a guy that wants to fight and you punch him once or twice on the way down. That's not aggressor. And I had the league tell me, and the one with who was it?
With Greco?
Yeah, with Greco, that they threw 12 punches and he threw 6 punches. So right away when the league says he threw 12 punches and the video shows 6, right away, it's like, okay, well, what are we really doing here? But I just told the league, if guys are going to run their mouth, they deserve to get punched. I mean, that's one of the reasons they have fighting in the game is so you can police that stuff. And I'm frustrated on it. And like I said, I'll probably move on to something else now, but it's ridiculous to some of the calls.
Well, you said that you would pay closer attention to scouting their team in these 2 games that you've played against them because they were potential championship implications later down the line. What did you learn about the Black Bears after these 2 games?
Well, I mean, they're a good team. They have guys that hit and they go to the net, and they don't have any weak spots. And I what I learned about them, I'm not going to say, to be honest with you, but I mean, they're a good team, and to beat them, you're going to have to play good hockey, and you're going to have to play a full 60 minutes.
Real quick, Coach, something out of the transactions page on federalhockey.com. We saw that there was new 4-game contracts for Joe Colatarsi and Orca Weisblatt. Those contracts won't last into the playoffs. Can you just take us through the nitty-gritty there of
Yeah, it's just it's a roster move to allow us to have more players on the roster. You're allowed to do that during the season. A lot of teams have been doing it, at the end, and it allows us to have a chance to play more guys on the weekend. So I'm going back and forth of what lineup I'm going to play, and it's really just a salary cap move and a roster move because we had the PTO still left over. So I figured we might as well use them, and that way we have a little bit extra money to spend too.
You return to the Columbus Civic Center this weekend, where the top spot in the Continental Division could come down to the final day. You would need to take both games against the River Dragons and also would need the already eliminated Monroe Moccasins to take a game off of Carolina. How do you approach a scenario like this, knowing what's on the line, but also knowing that some of it is out of your control?
Well, Monroe's got a skilled team, and they can beat anybody if they play a disciplined game and a hard-working game. But whether they do that or not, that's been their problem all year. They have players, and whether they play a good game or not, that remains to be seen. They got swept at home, I think, last weekend by Columbus. So I'm not counting on them to do anything. If they do it, great. The only thing we could do is win the next game and then the game after that. And right now you have to look at it as, it's out of our control. The likely chances you're playing Columbus. So it's 2 games against a team that most likely would play Wednesday. So it could be a really interesting weekend as far as that goes. And that's the way I'm looking at it.
At the end of the day, I know you well. I know you want to be able to be the best team and stamp your name atop the division. But do you see the benefit in staying in the 2 spot, knowing that you could potentially not have to worry about that gruesome of a travel schedule until the final if you make it there?
Well, the crazy play-in is kind of weird too, because a team has to play. It kind of really gives the team in the first round the number 1 seed advantage because they have to play a game, during the week and then travel and then play again. And so, I still would like to finish first if possible. But like I said, it's out of our hands. We gave away some games and now we're paying the fiddler. So, we'll see. But, we're going into this weekend to win Friday night and win Saturday night. And, we're still establishing who's playing with who and what the defensive pairs are and who's going to be playing the lineup. And, it's really competitive. And so there's a lot of things for us that we're doing this weekend that, that are in our control and what we want to do.
Is it hard not to look too far into the future, knowing that you have 2 crucial games coming up that could mean the top of the division, but also that these are 2 games against a team where you're very likely to play them next week in the first round of the playoffs?
Yeah, well, that's like I said, you want to establish things in these 2 games, and you want to establish your game, and you want to establish how you want to play, and you don't want to give them any momentum. You don't want to give them any any light at the end of the tunnel. So we're going in there to play hard, and play a game that gives us the best chance to win, and that's being physical, but not physical within the whistles. The stuff after the whistles, I'm tired of watching it, and I don't want our guys engaging in it because, if a guy wants to fight, all they have to do is drop their gloves, and all the talking and kind of scrumming, it's not for us. We don't really like that style, and the problem is when you Binghamton, you got 5 guys come in, and your defensemen are out at the point. You don't want them to come in because everything's critical, and like I said, then you end up with the other team. You end up being disciplined, and the other team ends up getting a power play after initiating everything. It's hard to understand the thought process that what goes through some of these guys' minds. But like I said, we can only control what we can control, and let's come out and play a skilled, fast, heavy game this weekend.
Coach, I think even against other sports, you hear about hockey. Oh, playoff hockey is a different breed. There's something different about playoff hockey. And I think fans know it when they see it, but maybe have a tough time putting their finger on exactly what's different. In your mind, what's the biggest difference between regular season hockey and playoff hockey?
Well, the big difference is everything's on the line. So, you're looking at, you got to win 2 games. And so you can't lose more than 1 game in a round until you get to the final. So everything is magnified. So, you need the players to step up and play their A game. And we've been trying to push for that, the last few weeks and ramp things up, knowing that, you don't want to just lace up your skates on the first day of the playoffs and expect that you're going to be there. So we've been pushing to play a high speed and, a heavy game and make sure everybody's on our A game. And that's, one of the things we're trying to do this weekend.
Crustacean Nation has brought it all season long, but the team is going to need every ounce of energy they can get from the fans to take us all the way in the Commissioner's Cup playoffs. Coach, what is your call to action to the fans to bring them out in droves during playoff season?
Well, the fans, the players feed off the noise and the crowd. That you can hear it. You can hear it on the hits, obviously on the goals, and certainly any scraps and saves. So it's something that it's hard to explain, the feeling that you get when you're playing in a big crowd, and it just helps the adrenaline, and so it's your extra player, and we want to get as many fans out as we can.
Crustacean Nation, you've been behind this team all season long, and with playoff hockey right around the corner, we know the energy in Aikens Ford Arena is only going to rise. For the fans out there watching and listening, now's the time. Lock in your seats, grab your gear, and get ready to bring the noise. Payoff tickets are on sale now. Let's pack the tank and make Aikens the loudest barn in the Fed. Get your tickets at rocklobstershockey.com or at classiccenter.evenue.net.
The chase for the Commissioner's Cup is nearly on, and your Athens Rock Lobsters are going to try and claw their way to glory. Be part of the madness this postseason and turn the tank into the loudest barn in the league. Don't miss your chance to witness every hit, every goal, and every game-winning moment as the Rock Lobsters battle for the ultimate prize. Postseason tickets are on sale now. Grab yours at rocklobstershockey.com today or scan the QR code currently on your screen. Let's pack the tank and make some playoff magic, because in the postseason, teams are going to learn to hashtag fear the claw. As always, a shout out to DJ Webster in the chat. Right now, the Rock Lobsters are trying to drop the beat that the Columbus River Dragons are going to try and continue from the first period. The River Dragons had the better flow in the first 20 minutes, but of course the Rock Lobsters haven't been a great first period team as of late. They've been much better as the game has gone on. Let's see if that trend continues. Hopefully it will here against the Columbus River Dragons. Seeing a lot of Rock Lobster jerseys in the crowd here tonight. The horn is blown, and there's some River Dragons down to a knee here. It looks like something's being checked on in a glass that's over one of the boards here on the end boards behind Babin. Oh, there is no glass. I was trying to look at that and see what was wrong with the glass. There is no glass, Mateen. So we got to get some glass in there, folks. I'm not seeing anyone on the ice currently. Let's go to a commercial break. We're waiting for some glass to be brought out to the ice here. Rock Lobster's about to start off the second period against the Columbus River Dragons. Stay tuned with us here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. It's a historic season for all the hockey fans in Athens, and how can you celebrate without beer? The Athens Rock Lobster Clawshank Redemption is available exclusively at Terrapin Tap Room. Terrapin, do the right thing. always. Classic City Flats is a brand new apartment community in Athens, Georgia that redefines luxury living, offering a sleek and contemporary living experience. Our impeccably designed apartment homes boast sophisticated interiors, premium amenities, and exquisite finishes, providing residents with an unparalleled downtown living experience. Classic City Flats is excited to deliver luxury apartments that set the new standard of sophisticated living in Athens, Georgia. Classic City Flats, redefining your horizon of living. Farmburger is defined by its mission, its farms, its team, and its family. In 2008, our co-founders gathered around a single idea: redefine the burger by bringing together a community of ranchers, farmers, chefs, restaurateurs, and eaters. Our promise is to strive every day and with every burger to uphold these core values to each and every one of you. We do that by holding ourselves to a higher standard. Grass-fed and grass-finished, that means our cattle are never fed grain. Our belief feeds our mission, and our mission is to feed you.
Every business owner who's built a business wonders about their company's legacy. What's the path forward after they decide to take a step back? At the heart of every succession plan is a vision that safeguards hard-earned success. This isn't just paperwork. It's your roadmap, guiding a business during a change in ownership and detailing how ownership transitions and key financial decisions unfold. This instills a profound sense of pride, belonging, innovation, and commitment, ensuring a stable future for the company and a rewarding exit for you. Let's forge that path together.
Well, the rink crew just came out here on the ice to start replacing this glass. Must have had to go back in the supply closet and see if they could find the right fit. It's being put out over the boards right now here. Athens Rock Lobsters down 1-0, but still a lot of game left. And of course, this isn't the only crucial game for Athens this weekend. The Monroe Moccasins hosting the Carolina Thunderbirds. And right now, an interesting start to that game. Blake Anderson has the Moccasins out to a 1-0 lead. Rock Lobsters trying to find a way through Babin for the first time tonight. Of course, the Rock Lobsters have already beat him this season, not as a member of the Columbus River Dragons, but as a member of the Motor City Rockers. A 4-1 win for Athens against the Rockers at Big Boy Arena just a little over a month ago. In that game, Trevor Babin made 45 saves, but let 3 in the 4-1 loss. Let's take another look at some of the scores here around the FPHL. And they really haven't changed much since our last update. Port Huron still up 1-0 against Motor City. Bingo still up 3-1 against the Hat Tricks. Venom still up 2-0 over Watertown. The Dashers still up 2-1 against the Bobcats. Moccasins have a 1-0 lead over the Thunderbirds and the Baton Rouge Zydeco. Right now, an early 4-0 drubbing of the Mississippi Seawolves. Well, we have new glass here in the rink. And there's some Columbus fans that are having fun in the crowd tonight, but there's a lot of Rock Lobster fans that are soaking in the Columbus Civic Center today. It was a very interesting welcome here to the Columbus Civic Center. There's a, what's the right word? I don't think it's a carnival. It's like a fair right outside in the parking lot. So a great way to spend a day here in Columbus. Go to the fair, throw up your lunch on a ride, and come get your fill of hockey here in the Columbus Civic Center. Looks like we're just about ready here. You could see on your screen the Columbus River Dragons with a slight advantage at 7-6 in the shots on goal. Opening draw here of the second period. And away we go in the middle 20. Daniil Glukaryov right past Robertson, who picks it up. Big Red over to Shinkarik, and Shinkarik back in the blue line position here for the Rock Lobsters. Interesting. We'll see if that sticks. Glukaryov gets it deflected right back to him. Dangerous play there from Balkwell behind his own net. Could have potentially set up Milan inadvertently. Here is that man, Milan. Hoping for 2 more points on the season so he can end the campaign at the century mark, if not more. Somero on the far side to the half wall. Weisblatt. Robertson. No look feed. Shinkarik's there. Milan at the red line. Malik Johnson at the blue line. Left circle. Towards the center for Philip Virgili. Knocked in around. Murray stops it at the line, but put some energy into that puck that made it trickle over. Athens gets called for the offside. Draw here is going to happen right in front of the Athens penalty box. Little more than a minute gone. Papapetros out of the draw to the left from Murray. Murray tries to cut the ice with a pass that completes it towards Virgili, who dumps it into the corner. Gallant to Chase. Gets something on it to get it towards Johnson. Johnson back to the line for Papapetros. Looking for a deflection out in front. Philip Virgili follows it with a rebound shot. Big time save from Babin. Babin trying to convert his career record in the FPHL to a positive one. Career record of 57, 61, and 10 in his 7 years of FPHL experience. Of course, Motor City has had their struggles over the last couple of campaigns. You can't pin that all on the goaltender. Babin saved 30 of 32 in the team's last game, a 4-2 win against the Monroe Moccasins. Rock Lobsters with some self-inflicted wounds out of their own zone. Papapetros. Virgili. Ryan Hunter. Good work in from behind from Stafora to win it back. Malik Johnson tried to lay the body there as Lind turned the corner. Lind, a good skater, though. Finds Doherty, who enters in on the right side. Snatching that one like a fly out of the air was Lavalier. $17:23 left in this middle frame. Shots now even at 8 apiece, but I believe that was shot number 9 for Columbus. Early jump there on the faceoff. Brandon Picard taking the draw here. Needed to jumble around this line after putting Shinkarik back at defense. Slahetka receives a great pass from his right. Looks like Powell now here on the left wing. Stafora flips it into the Columbus bench. Powell, we've mostly seen him as a blue liner as well, but he's someone that has that big frame at 6'6". You wouldn't mind putting him in the forward position. Faceoff will get taken back to the left circle, right next to William Lavalier. Point shot from the River Dragons, blocked right back to the blue line towards Slehetka. Dumps it into the far corner. Awkward bounce off the glass. Lavalier has to make the save on the shot from Bersani. Was told an interesting story by some of the production staff here in Columbus that there was a former altercation between Hunter Bersani and Trevor Babin, in which one or the other slammed the other's head into the ice. And I've been told that they're two of the best friends on the team now. Perhaps sometimes the grass is greener on the other side for Babin, who's making Columbus look like home in his early games here as a River Dragon. Orca Weisblatt with a tip on it. Balkwill with a shot that gets deflected, heading towards the bar of Lavalier's cage. Still able to make the glove save as Big Willie. Hooked on the Lobsters asking who are the healthy scratches tonight. Haven't seen Zinchenko, haven't seen Alden. I did see Alden take warm-ups, but have not seen him in the contest thus far. Right out of the draw, Bersani with another shot. Wasn't able to get much power on that one, however. Weisblatt, centering feed. Pass Robertson to Glukarioff. Glukarioff. Shinkarik lets one loose. Glove save from Babin. Trying to look at my roster sheet, and I don't believe we've seen Adam Oja either. Of course, Kyle Russell has been dealing with an injury. And Matt Garcia. I believe Oja, Garcia, Alden, and Zinchenko. Picard gets first contact on the faceoff, but can't direct it to a teammate. Avery Smith had it just appear on the end of his stick. Didn't see it coming, though, and therefore wasn't able to do much with it. Smith helps that down. Stafora over the center of the line. Having trouble casting a spell on that one. Picard tries to feed Smith, who was out in front. Smith having scored a beauty of a goal to open the scoring for Athens against Binghamton in that Game 1 win against the Black Bears. Smith, here he is. Good move at the line, gets taken down. Greco sends a pass with finesse to Stafora, who couldn't handle it. Great feed at the line. McDonald to the far side. Hunter gets stopped by Lavalier. McDonald leads this Columbus River Dragons team in points. Hunter once again unable to find the net past Lavalier. Slehetka from a tight angle all the way around. River Dragons got to go back to the man advantage here. Slehetka out to the right side. Slehetka, tight angle, sends it right into the chest of William Lavalier. Go to immediate timeout here. When we return, the River Dragons trying to make it 2-0 on their second power play goal of the night. Leslie Jones-Law penalty kill for the Rock Lobster after these messages.
At Athens Stonecasting, Don Hill oversees acres of sculptures poured from thousands of molds, endless possibilities for neighbors who envision unique gardens. Craig Meeks at First American Bank and Trust caught that vision. Together, Don and Craig create solutions that keep the business teeming with new gifts for the garden. Vision. It's one of the core convictions we live by. Learn more about what we stand for at firstamericanishere.com. First American Bank and Trust.
Team. where the best customer service is our promise. With over 5 decades of expertise, trust Stanfield to keep you comfortable. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
I've yet to see what the call was on Michael Greco, who will sit for 2. Kyle Moore and the River Dragons have already scored on the power play tonight. This second in the league penalty kill for the Rock Lobsters will attempt to make sure that it doesn't happen twice. Greco sits for 2. River Dragons on the power play. Shinkarik wins the faceoff. Riley Robertson gets it just past Kyle Moore at the line. Sounds like it's cross-checking the call against Michael Greco. Nice poke check at the line. Colatarsi able to get it toward Milan. Milan with a slapper, swallowed up by Babin. Now speed on the near side from the River Dragons. Ryan Hunter gets free. Shot misses wide. What a great opportunity for Hunter, who was hunting to double the lead for Columbus. No River Dragon has more goals this year than Hunter's 25. Another offensive zone faceoff here. Just 29 seconds gone in this power play for Columbus. Stopped at the line by Moore. Big hit draws the ire of these River Dragon fans. Colatarsi looking for Milan once again. Just a little too strong on the feed. Shinkarik on the forecheck. Despite being a man down, the Rock Lobsters forcing the River Dragons to be careful, playing out of their own zone. Underwood, step on the brakes. Backhand feed goes all the way back to Babin, who's out of his crease to make a play on it. Just soft shovel over to Kyle Moore. Moore again gets edged out by a combination of Colatarsi and Malik Johnson. Collision there between Johnson and Virgili. Johnson, great read there, and gets it up the far half wall. Less than half a minute to go here on this man advantage for the River Dragons. Dumped in Papa Petros. Great work with the stick. Gets tripped up by the skate, I believe, of Jemaev, who reacts with frustration. We're going to have 15 seconds of 4-on-4 before a minute 45 power play for the Rock Lobsters, as Jemaev will sit for 2 for tripping. And watch out for the Rock Lobsters out of the 4-on-4 too. Memory harkens back to the Rock Lobsters scoring a tremendous goal on the 4-on-4 through Daniil Glukaryov against the Baton Rouge Zydeco a couple weeks ago. River Dragons need a new participant in the face-off, as Wickline has been booted from the dot. Rock Lobsters win it. Milan unable to direct the pass perfectly towards Shinkarik. Shinkarik with a whiff on that, sending it up the far side. But Virgili still gets something on it. Virgili past a River Dragon into the corner, jousting with Wickline. Michael Greco back on the ice, and now the power play starts for the Rock Lobsters. Casey Gallant looking for the backdoor feed towards Garrett Milan. Didn't miss the Athens veteran by all too much. Milan, backhand feed. Virgili at the center of the ice, helps it onto the stick of Shinkarik. Drops it to the right side for Weisblatt. That went all the way past this Rock Lobster contingent. Ooh, Lavalier with a spill to the right of his net. Took some contact from Bersani. Lavalier was looking for the call. Leading power play goal scorer in the FPHL, Case of Gallant. Milan, Shinkarik at the point. Milan back to Shinkarik. Feeds Gallant. Off of Underwood and into the glass. Weisblatt picks up the loose puck. Gallant in the high slot. Unable to direct his shot towards Babin. .20 seconds left on this power play for the Rock Lobsters. Shinkarik with a dance move at the line. Weisblatt whistles it around the boards. Papa Petros to Johnson. Papa Petros. Stafora with a little push in the slot. Malik Johnson down to a knee, unable to get anything on it. Jamea fresh out the box. Shinkarik. Malik Johnson able to send Stafora long, but cut out by Columbus. Stafora, little 1-2 with him and Glukaryov. Glukaryov, good little pirouette from the Russian. Papa Petros takes a push at the line. Big hit in behind. Papa Petros has to return to the bench as he's lost his bucket. Stafora with an effort from the point. Easy glove save by Babin. Some comments being made in the chat about some of the YouTube advertisements that you might see on the stream. And I want to be fully transparent with you because that's what we've done all season long. We are recent additions to the YouTube Partners Program. For those of you unaware, that is an opportunity for the broadcast itself to bring in revenue. And this isn't something that's going to be forever. This is something that I wanted to be able to test and see, number one, how much it was going to benefit the team, and then number two, how much it was going to be frustrating for you as viewers. This is all something that I'm noting, so please keep letting your opinions be known. Believe me, I'm taking them to heart. Smith tried to find Picard as they were both in the slot there. Smith trying to get it through the channel, but Columbus comes away with the puck. Jemayev just a touch on it. Swept away by Kolatarsi, sent back in on the near side by Samaro. Greco to Kolatarsi on the near side. Smith. Kolatarsi, did he save that one going over? Still loose out in front. Picard from a tight angle. Pat saved by Babin. A lot of speed on the far side. Little backhander from Lind out of his own rebound. Hard off the boards, the shot from Thornton. Storjahan looking for a tip out in front from Wickline. In return, Avery Smith puts him into the glass. That's the icing there, and I don't believe we've seen an icing before then tonight. A little bit interesting. Well, we go to another media timeout here. Stay tuned with us here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. The River Dragons have held tight onto their 1-0 lead. Let's see if the Rock Lobsters can tie this up after the break. UGA football player Amarius Mims suffered a serious injury. The quality care from the Piedmont team changed his life.
As a football player, my body is everything to me. When I got injured, I was worried about
my future in the game, but you and your team's expertise, care, and support reassured me from the start. I've been able to recover because of the quality care I received at Piedmont, and I am back playing at my full potential on the field. I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me, my family, and my future. Your help means the world to me, and I'll always be grateful for your part in keeping my dreams alive. How you doing?
Well, I didn't know you were going to be here.
Yes, sir.
I'm so proud of you. So happy for you. It gives me joy to see you out there on the field doing your thing. You look good.
Appreciate you.
It's a good-looking ankle.
I'm trying to tell you.
We're past the halfway mark of this game. Rock Lobster still looking to tickle the twine for the first time tonight. Virgili gets edged out by McDonald on the dot. Ooh, a little tip in and an own goal there. Unfortunate, as a hard centering pass is off the blade of Shinkarik and past Lavalier. Oh, it doesn't get more unlucky than that. It looks like it's going to be credited for Kyle Moore, so that'll be his second of the night. Just an unfortunate goal to double the River Dragons' lead. I believe it was Moore with the hard centering pass. It's hard off the blade of Shinkarik's stick, and then the River Dragons almost make it 3. Still loose out in front. It's been announced as Moore's second of the game. McDonald gets the lone assist on it. Virgili, clever little feed there. He has Gallant at the back door, helps it his way. Gallant forcing the pad save. Malik Johnson with a rebound, misses with the backhander. Murray stops it at the point. Johnson settles it, shoots it wide. Virgili out to the far side. Murray's centering pass gets cut out by Slahetka. McDonald feeds Hunter. Tight angle shot, able to open up his body and trouble Lavalier. As a few representatives from each team are getting tangled up in behind. The shot on goal tally has certainly grown higher for the River Dragons in this period, already having 10 shots on goal in this middle frame. Rock Lobsters having to work in from behind here. Milan to Glukarioff, helps it to Shinkarik. Robertson on the near side. Back to Shinks. To the left, Glukarioff, the Russian rifle into the corner. Gets it through to Weisblatt. Milan in the middle. Misses wide left. Off of Robertson hard, down for Weisblatt. Back to the big red machine. Milan evasive, banks it towards Robertson. Almost fell to Glukarioff. Good stick work there from Doherty. Gets it to Jamaev. Able to lift the stick of Shinkarik. Doherty stops it at the end boards. Effort from the point. Balkwill gets saved by Lavalier. Six minutes and 32 seconds left in the second period. 2 goals from Kyle Moore are the difference maker right now, and Moore Getting a little bit of a helping hand there from Shinkarik. Just an unfortunate play. Shinkarik tries to make an interception on the pass from Moore. It ends up going hard off the blade of his stick and past Lavalier. 2 periods into this one, and almost 3 goals. Good blocker save there from Lavalier, who stops Lind from making it 3 from the line. Storjahan. Near corner for Thornton. Avoids the hit from Greco, but Greco still applying the pressure firmly to the numbers. Storjahan does enough to keep the puck away from Stafora. So much of the success for the Rock Lobsters against the Black Bears, that was last Wednesday night, came because Athens was able to really pressurize Binghamton on the forecheck. And unfortunately, it's the River Dragons that are applying the pressure in this one. Pass needed more, though, from Wickline. Murray committed, and now there's numbers committed for the River Dragons. Pad save from Hunter, courtesy of Lavalier. Stafora directly to the net after that long shift. He's looking for someone to take his place. 5 minutes to go in this second period. Lavalier will cover. We go back to a commercial break here. Columbus making it 2 on the own goal from the Rock Lobsters. We'll be back with more Athens Rock Lobster hockey after this commercial break.
At Athens Stonecasting, Don Hill oversees acres of sculptures poured from thousands of molds, endless possibilities for neighbors who envision unique gardens. Craig Meeks at First American Bank and Trust caught that vision. Together, Don and Craig create solutions that keep the business teeming with new gifts for the garden. Vision. It's one of the core convictions we live by. Learn more about what we stand for at firstamerikanishere.com. First American Bank and Trust.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon your toilet will clog again.
What if it won't flush?
We'll always repair it.
Nobody puts baby in a flooded corner.
Maybe I should still fix it.
You had me at hello. We've got same-day service.
Plumbing completes me.
A little bit of kiss cam here at Columbus Civic Center, and Rock Lobsters playing in from behind here in the second period. Of course, the 2-0 lead is the most dangerous in hockey, but the Rock Lobsters are going to need to show something here before this second period ends. Virgili calls something to the bench, I believe, before the faceoff starts. McDonald tries to take it through the Swede, batted out of midair by Papapetros. One of the officials sees something he doesn't like. .455 to go in the second. McDonald wins it back. Slahetka on the near side. McDonald, backhand feed. Tried to stuff it in. A wide open net is missed by Hunter. Kaysen Gallant, the Red Deer Rocket with speed, steps on the brakes. Centering pass. Took contact off a River Dragon instead. Papapetros just glides on the ice, but his drop pass is through Johnson. Kaysen Gallant cuts out the pass from McDonald, but it's won back by Moore. Ryan Hunter in the far circle. Shot spills out to the left, but Troy Murray bats it away. Johnson tries to center it towards Gallant and never made it his way. McDonald in the near boards. McDonald, left circle, to the line. Looking for a tip out in front. Takes it wide of the mark. McDonald trying to force it through. Weisblatt forces it out. Sent in by Columbus. Riley Robertson had backhanded that one into the air. Bersani with a vertical plays it with a glove, but over the glass. So we need a new puck in here. Reminder that the River Dragons are trying to even their record against the Rock Lobsters this season, currently 4-6 against Athens. Those with home ice in this series have greatly benefited. Awkward out in front. Bersani got something on it. Gets taken into the boards by Robertson. Glukarioff has Jamaev glued to his back. Still gets the pass off. Milan through the legs. Glukarioff misses over the bar. We've got a whistle here. Garrett Milan took a spill after getting that clever pass between his legs off. Bersani gets sent to the box, and the Rock Lobsters are back to the power play. 2 minutes of the nearly 3 minutes that remain in this second period will be on the man advantage for Athens. It feels like now is the time, and here is the place for Athens to scratch one back. They are currently 0 for 2 on the power play tonight. Niven asked in the chat what my favorite ice cream flavor is and why is it not Cheez-Its. Of course, Jake Peacock talking about a monstrosity of a creation there. I'll tell you at the end of this period. Right now, the Rock Lobsters on the man advantage. Milan lets one loose, a lot of speed. Followed up, in behind, Casey Gallant at the back door, makes it 2-1. The Red Deer Rocket is able to extend his lead atop the FPHL leaderboards for power play goals. That's number 16 on the year. Casey Gallant with goal number 39 of the season. He came into this game atop not only the leaderboards for power play goals in this league, but also goals in general. Will he get 40 on the season? No doubt Casey Gallant has cemented his reputation as one of, if not the top rookie in the FPHL this season. Shinkarik able to fend off not one but two, but taken back away by Hatcher. Sturgeon on the near side. Here's the goal scorer for Athens, Gallant. Gets it up the boards. Johnson has it in his good graces. But the River Dragons keep it in a dangerous area for Athens. Working in from behind. Wickline. Great centering pass, but maybe it was too good because Loic Plouffe didn't even know it was coming. River Dragons stop Johnson at the line. Tight angle shot. Pin balls past Lavalier. Lavalier takes the bucket off. Had something that was going on with his helmet. And it's a smart move by Lavalier. That strap came loose from the helmet, and he just takes it off his head to show that he has an equipment issue. Of course, it's something that the fans aren't agreeing with. And how about this? We're on Garrett Milan watch as well. Milan with the primary assist on the Gallant goal. And that puts Milan at 63 assists, but more importantly, point number 99 on the year. What did we say? We said it has to be right here. It has to be right now for Athens. They get their goal back. It puts them in a much more favorable position as we are about a minute 56 from heading back towards the tunnel for the second intermission. Some players getting tied up, having conversations. Referees have been able to deal with it. Face-off will happen to the left of Lavalier. I'm still looking for your feedback, Rock Lobster fans. I want to be, again, transparent with you. I've made the advertisements less frequent on the stream. Let me know if they've relieved your stress at all, because I want to know if they're still coming up at inopportune times when they do come up. Again, we value you as Rock Lobster fans. We value your viewership here. And no doubt you guys have done so much for me on the year. I want to do right by you as well. Garrett Milan almost doing right for the Rock Lobsters. A beautiful move hard towards Babin's net. All that was missing was the finish. Papa Petros into the corner. Jamaev the other way. Great little tight angle shot, but Lavalier able to deal with it. Still needs a little help from the people out in front. Milan can't get it out. One back by the River Dragons. Weisblatt unable to get it out of the zone, and then Balkwell had a shot that was blocked by the killer whale. Last 60 seconds of play here in the second. Weisblatt passed him for Shinkarik. Shinkarik unable to take the biscuit with him on the wraparound. Ryan Hunter trying to restore that 2-goal lead, misses high, and it goes into the netting. Preston asked in the chat, when do we know who's coming back next year? Unfortunately, it'll be quite a bit of time until we see the roster for next campaign. Also, news coming out of Monroe that crucial game for the Rock Lobsters is currently tied between the Thunderbirds and the Moccasins. Shinkarik on the faceoff once again. We've seen him shift in between the blue line position and the center position in this game. Moore, who has 2 goals, gets the puck lifted away from him by Stafora. Stafora into the zone. Picked back up by Brody Thornton. Michael Greco, the former River Dragon, with 5 seconds left, will let this period last just a little bit longer after the icing call. Also looks like the Blue Ridge Bobcats have fought back to tie things up at 3-3 in that game. Looks like they're trying to check the exact timing on when the whistle would have been blown. .5 seconds has been put up on the clock. While we got a little stoppage here, I will tell you, Niven asked earlier what my favorite ice cream flavor is. I'm a sucker for Ben & Jerry's Chunky Monkey. I love a banana ice cream. Banana as a flavor is just elite, in my opinion. Last second and a half of this second period. Shinkarik with a diving poke check away from Hunter will make sure that a last-second shot from Columbus does not occur. Well, the River Dragons were able to take a 2-0 lead, and it came in unfortunate fashion for the Rock Lobsters as Kyle Moore had a ferocious centering pass that was hard off the blade of Carter Shinkarik's stick and past William Lavalier. But the Rock Lobsters got their goal. They went on the power play. Third time is the charm for the man advantage for Athens as Kaysen Gallant is able to extend 2 leads atop the FPHL leaderboards. His 16th power play goal of the year and goal number 39 of his campaign. Well, we were talking about certain tastes and certain flavors people like. It was also something I talked about with Philip Virgili. Philip Virgili was able to talk me through what he preferred about Swedish culture and also American culture. It was a little game that me and him played, but a long conversation between me and the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, Philip Virgili. Here's my talk with Phil.
How's it going, Crustacean Nation? Welcome back to Lobster Tales here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. It's the go-to way that fans of the team can learn more about their favorite Rock Lobster players. This is Voice of the Rock Lobsters, Maxine Rad, and I'm joined today by everyone's favorite Swede, Philip Virgili. Phil, thanks for joining me. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. It's been such a long time since we talked about how things are going. And the last time we did something like this, it was before we were even playing home games. You know, despite the fact the season was already ongoing, it feels like we couldn't have known what we were in store for this season, whether it be the success of the team, the opening of the arena, the ferocity of the fans. Have there been aspects of this first season that have surprised you?
Yeah, definitely. So kind of like what you mentioned, you know, we kind of uncharted waters with everything, you know, going on with the rink and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, playing down south is something new for me, and I think for a lot of guys there as well. And, you know, hockey maybe it hasn't been the biggest here, but it's been awesome to kind of see the, you know, the fan interaction that we've gotten here, and, you know, seeing how hockey's growing here, and, you know, playing in front of all these fans here at this beautiful rink. It's been absolutely amazing, and kind of, you know, open up your eyes for how much you actually love hockey and, you know, the benefits that come with it.
There's no native Georgians on this team, so everyone is far from home. But of course, it's different for you and Oja and Danny and Zinni, where home is over an ocean away. I know it's been such a short period of time here, but with your home of Malmo, Sweden, so far away, has Athens become a home away from home at all?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm always going to be firm in the way that it all depends on the people that you have around you. And, you know, I've been blessed to have all these great teammates, and, you know, my wife also being a pillar for me here. There's not much to dislike about Athens, let's just put it that way. It makes it a lot easier to kind of feel at home when you got, you know, the sunny weather, the awesome fans, the beautiful rink. It's been a very easy transaction to move from, you know, the Quad Cities to down south here in Athens.
There's been some great memories already for you here as well, especially looking back in January, where you registered the first ever hat trick in franchise history, and you did it on our home ice. What was it like to have that kind of individual performance and to do so in front of our own fans?
Absolutely electric. I think there's a lot of words to kind of describe that, but, you know, I have to be kind of humble and give credit where credit's due. And I mean, especially, you know, I've been playing with Kaysen Gallant the entire season here, and, you know, they work hard, they play hard, they give me the puck in good situations. So, like I said, give credit where credit is due. They give you easy chances, and but overall, an incredible feeling. I mean, like, especially at home, right? You wouldn't want to score a hat trick anywhere else. Absolutely awesome. Yeah.
You've already brought it up. It feels like you can't talk about your season without talking about Kaysen Gallant, and the same is the truth for Kaysen as well. I remember us talking about your chemistry with Gally. That was back in October. Fast forward 6 months, and we're still talking about it. What do you think makes your partnership so effective?
I think him and I just kind of clicked right away. It's easy to play with a guy who works his, off. Always wants the puck. Always, is quick on his feet, and it's nice to kind of let them do the little dirty work, and then you kind of find areas where they can find you. And that's why I think also, giving credit to Mallow now, who's joined our line, just a working horse. So I think that's why all us three kind of work well together, is that we kind of feed off each other's strengths, which is kind of, open up our goal scoring opportunities. But I wouldn't have accomplished the things I've done this season without these guys next to me. So credit to those two.
You've also been so lethal on the shootout this season. You've been one of Coach Marty's go-to guys in the shootout. What do you think it is about your profile that makes you good in the shootout? Is it more to do with your skill, or is it more of a mentality thing?
It's funny because, in the past, I haven't had a great track record in the shootouts. I've always watched a lot of YouTube videos and see all these guys, like Barkov or Kucherov do these funny little skill shootouts, and I try them myself and they don't go in. But I've kind of, dialed in a couple moves here and there and kind of gone with it, and it's worked out this season so far. And, I think once you kind of get the first one of the year, you become a lot more confident when you go in for the next one. So I think the confidence is definitely the key in going into the shootouts.
You've just celebrated your 27th birthday on March 31st, and you've celebrated a lot of different birthdays while playing hockey. Was there anything special about birthday number 27?
Yeah, well, we're down there in beautiful Athens. No, I got to celebrate with, all my teammates and all my brothers here, and made it very fun. I remember my birthday last year. There was a bunch of tornadoes and all that kind of stuff, so I had to sit inside the entire day. So it's a nice little change through that. Yeah.
Interesting to talk about something away from hockey, but you're such a well-rounded guy, well-educated guy. You've still got a good amount of playing time left, but what do you think life after playing looks like for you?
It's a great question. It's a lot of different career paths, I think, that I kind of can think of. Right now, I think one for me is, I'm trying to get my license in financial advising. I have an awesome, support from back in the Quad Cities. Her name is Dawn. I've been kind of taking me under her wing in regard to that. And, that would be a potential for me after I'm done playing to kind of, settle down there and see where life with me and my wife and, the dog kind of takes us. It's not something that we really haven't talked much about so far because, once you're in hockey season, you're kind of dialed in on that. But only good things to think of, if that makes any sense.
Oh, 100%. Big shout out to Dawn as well.
Definitely.
Carter Shinkarik and me were talking a couple of weeks ago about the Four Nations tournament and how you must have felt kind of left out being the only Swedish guy on the team. But of course, that has changed since then. It's not like you're someone who's lacking friends. Everyone on the team loves you. But was there a special feeling in Adam Oja, a fellow countryman, coming into the team as well?
Of course, it's every time you get a person from your home country, you can speak your native tongue and all that kind of stuff. It just makes it feel a lot more like home. And I think that I'm kind of speaking for him as well, and he feels the same way. I understand that this is, home away from home, but like I said, it's always nice when you can kind of relate on the cultural things from Sweden and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely made a big difference. And unfortunately, we couldn't show it off better in the Four Nations, but maybe next time.
Now, I was cheering for Sweden as well, that. But
that's fine.
Phil, I'm coming off my own great milestone in my life. I think the greatest milestone in my life. I've proposed to my girlfriend, Paige, and now we're engaged to be married. You're kind of known as the wife guy on the team. What advice can you give me on being married?
do whatever she says. No, I think I've come to learn that, happy wife, happy life is truly a statement. But I think when you've met the partner that you know is the one, it's easy to kind of work well together. And I can only give credit to my wife. I don't think it's super easy being a hockey wife. We're off a long. We're gone for sometimes multiple days, and they're alone and all that kind of stuff. But they know the responsibilities that you have as a player and all that kind of stuff, so they feed him well to it. And I think it's also very nice for the guys around here. She'll bake them cinnamon rolls and sourdough and all that kind of stuff. So I think they're reaping the benefits as well as of me having a wife. But no, yeah, just take care of her and listen to her. I think that's probably the best tip that I can give.
Is there someone on the team that, or who on the team do you think will make maybe the best husband for a lucky lady someday?
I think there's going to be a lot of not angry guys, but disappointed guys that I'm not mentioning them. But I think Orca Weisblatt is just a very respectful guy, especially when it comes to the ladies. He's shown me that. So if there's ever the question, who would you let date your daughter? I think Orca Weisblatt is definitely up in the top there.
He's such a good kid, man. I couldn't agree more with you.
Definitely is.
On the other side of things, who on the team do you think maybe wouldn't be cut out for marriage?
Rosie. Not even a question. Not even a question. Yeah.
Well, Phil, I want to play a little game, man. We're going to call it Culture Clash. I'm going to give you 2 words of a similar nature, one Swedish and one American. You're going to tell me which one you prefer. I think you're probably going to go Swedish nearly every time. But
I love it. Go ahead.
And if it doesn't make sense now, I'm sure it will in a second. You ready, Phil?
Go ahead.
First question, I think this is a good one because you had the fan favorite burger at Farm Burger. Swedish meatballs or a cheeseburger?
Oh, that's so tough. You can never go wrong with a cheeseburger, but I have to, I have to go with the Swedish meatballs, especially if they're done right.
Is there any place in Georgia or in Athens that you can get a good, well-done Swedish meatball besides IKEA?
My apartment.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. We're coming over to Phyllis.
I haven't even checked it out yet or even seen if there's a possibility. I know that certain places have, like they have a Swedish bakery or something like that, but I'm so stuck into, the American culture and the food here right now that I haven't even thought about it. Yeah.
Well, they're both coming up soon, Phil. Next up, patriotic holidays, Midsummer or 4th of July?
Midsummer. Not even close. Not even close. I think Midsummer is just a holiday that anyone, whether you're from Sweden, the U.S., Canada, or anything like that, it's just one of those that you have to experience. It's just such a blast, and you hang out with your friends and tend to get a little tipsy, but it makes the night a little more fun. So definitely Midsummer.
What about the best way to relax and recover? Sauna or hot tub?
Hot tub. Absolutely. Yeah. I like a sauna, but it can never go wrong with just being able to relax in a hot tub after a hard workout.
A couple flavors that you can't get anywhere else: lingonberry jam or peanut butter?
Lingonberry jam. Absolutely. And it's funny because it kind of ties into the meatballs, that can make or break a dish. So I had to bring that back home from Sweden. I have to bring it into the U.S. here so I can enjoy my meatballs whenever I eat them.
Were you perplexed by peanut butter at all? Because anytime I talk about peanut butter with Europeans, they don't get it. They're like, I don't see the idea.
It's just not as big of a thing as it is here in the U.S. I was thinking back to my college days. I was so surprised when I was sitting in class and this guy was sitting with a peanut butter jar and just eating straight out of it. And I remember, what is going on right now? But having been here for 8-something years now, you can never go wrong with like a peanut butter jelly. So I kind of get the hype right now. Yeah.
What about pop culture icons, ABBA or Taylor Swift?
Oh, not even close. ABBA. Any day. Any day.
And then a little bit of retail, IKEA or Target?
Oof. IKEA. And I know that a lot of people have some struggles building those things, which me too, but I still love it. Especially their food, the little food marketplace, whatever you want to call it. Can never go wrong with buying, a hot dog for $1 and an ice cream for 50 cents. Like the fact that that's still a thing is what makes IKEA.
I heard the dumbest joke today was, did you hear that the CEO of IKEA was just elected the Prime Minister of Sweden? Did you hear about this?
No. No.
He's taken quite a bit of time to assemble his cabinet.
Oh, God. You thought about that one for a while, didn't you?
No, I swear I heard it today. It was a dumb joke that I heard. Yeah. And I was like, it seems weird after I wrote down all these questions that was a joke that I heard this morning. But
honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case, seeing how big IKEA is.
Phil, last one here, and it's the easiest one for me to answer. 0-degree winters or 100-degree summers?
0-degree winters.
Wow,
dude. Yeah,
I don't know how you do it.
You want to know why? Because I'm a skiing over like summertime, whatever you want to call it, that question. I love snowboarding and skiing and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's easier for me to kind of be in that climate versus, melting on a sunshare somewhere.
Well, Phil, we're going to finish off this interview with one of our news segments, Question a Crustacean. It's where Crustacean Nation themselves can ask questions of their favorite Rock Lobster players. If you're watching at home or listening in the car and you would like to ask your own questions for future interviews, join the Athens Rock Lobsters fan page on Facebook and look out for posts from me, Matt Teenrat. Our first questions come from our technical extraordinaire here on the show, Stephen Turner. He says, as an unbiased Swede, who really has the best hockey players out of U.S. or Canada?
It's going to piss a lot of people off. I have to say Canada. I have to. They've just produced such talent throughout all the years. And it's tough to, when you have players like Nathan McKinnon and Connor McDavid, to say anything else.
Well, after the Four Nations, too, that pretty much proved it, right?
Especially, yes. That's fair.
He also wonders which U.S. or Canadian Rock Lobster duo would be the best duet act for a karaoke night.
Oh, yeah, that's a great question.
Are there any guys that sing on the team?
You know what? Yes, I already have one guy in mind, and that's Joey Coulthard. He's pretty good at doing the Panic at the Disco covers, but I'm trying to think of another. You know what? Throw in Matt Garcia. I think those two would be a pretty lethal duo up on the mic.
A little Florida-Illinois combination there. I like it.
Definitely, yeah.
Ty Benton wants to know, what arena would you most like to play in?
That stretches to any NHL and all that kind of stuff?
In the world. I mean, even if there's any back home in Sweden.
I think, the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think that's just with the history and all that kind of stuff behind it. I think, that would be an electric place to play at.
This one's going to be tough, Phil, because it's going to put you on the spot. Ashley Renee wants you to list 5 interesting facts about yourself.
Oh, wow.
Give us as many as you can, maybe.
I'm going to try to, yeah, sure. I think I love to cook. That's kind of a generic, boring answer, but, I love it. Play a little bit of guitar.
Okay.
I guess that's a little hidden one. Let's see what else. I love horses. I think they're majestic animals, and definitely think the relationship between man and horses are something beautiful. I like to play video games, like to golf. A lot of golf. I wish I was better at it, but still a lot of golf. I said it before. I like skiing, snowboarding, all that kind of stuff. I love to travel, especially to countries such as Italy or Portugal. What else? Good.
I feel like we're reading like your dating profile right now. Sorry, ladies.
Yeah.
Bill's already picking.
Yeah, I have a beautiful wife, definitely. Our little doggy. You gotta give Ruby a little shout out as well. I know she's they think the guys kind of like her as well, so I had to. I don't know.
Hate to cut off our interview with Philip Virgili short. Of course, you can catch all Lobster Tales here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. In the meantime, let's talk about playoff tickets. Chase for the Commissioner's Cup is set to commence, and your Athens Rock Lobsters are going to try and claw their way to glory. Be part of the madness this postseason and turn the tank into the loudest barn in the league. Don't miss your chance to witness every hit, every goal, and game-winning moment as the Rock Lobsters battle for the ultimate prize. Postseason tickets are on sale now. Grab yours at rocklobstershockey.com today. Let's pack the tank and make some playoff magic, because in the postseason, teams are going to learn to #FearTheClaw. The Rock Lobsters were able to score on the power play late on in the second, a follow-up goal from Kason Gallant, his 39th of the year, 16th power play goal for the Red Deer Rocket. That put Athens in a much more favorable position as they are now down 2-1 entering what could be a crucial third period. Glukarioff right off the rip trickled the shot towards Babin, who made the pad save. Great start for the Rock Lobsters in this third period, and they've been a good third period team as of late. Weisblatt from the far side. A little bit of a U-turn, but it took a piece of the linesman. That might send the River Dragons the other way. Somero centers a pass, an absolute bullet from Bersani, and a glove save from Lavalier. Two great opportunities just in this first 36 seconds of the third period. Just catching the tail end of this altercation, it looks like it's Bersani who's barking at Murray. Looks like both Murray and Bersani will go to the box. We'll see if this will be a 4-on-4 or if it'll be offsetting roughings. Hooked on a Lobster said, my question did not make it. Actually, Hooked, I believe you had the last question of the video, so you weren't able to see it on the intermission, but it is still on the recording of that interview. You can catch it here on the Athens Rock Lobster YouTube channel. Face-off happening to the left. And it looks like they'll keep it 5-on-5 on the roughings to Bersani and Murray. Animated conversation there between the linesman and Wickline. I don't think I've seen that. Such an animated talk between the linesman and a center on a face-off. Johnson centers it towards Phil. Banker over to the Red Deer Rocket. Looking for the second of his game. If he gets it, it will be goal number 40 on the year. Blocked out in front. Johnson in the office, gets it taken away from him. But Gallant gets it back. Forced to pass towards the slot. Trickles out into the defensive ice for Athens. Gallant gets it back from Captain Fantastic. Shoveled out by Columbus. Picked back up by the Athenian anchor, Zach Papapetros. Scoreline between the Monroe Moccasins now 2-2 after Monroe was down 2-1 in that one. Had the 1-0 lead earlier on. Glukarioff does enough there defensively on Lind. Able to one-hand push it to Milan. Orca Weisblatt lifted the stick, but Columbus still moving it west to east. Broken stick shot from Hunter. Michael Greco with a giveaway. Lind lets it run. Colatarsi. Back to Greco. Greco allowing the change to happen, getting the glass slappers right behind him. Nice move from Stafor at the line, couldn't complete it, and then Picard gets hit by the big body of Doherty into the glass. Picard gets on his horse, kills the icing call. Perhaps there was a touch from someone on that Athens team. One-time ripper from Big Red. Save from Babin. Riley Robertson trying to even this score line. Columbus have had the only lead in this game. 17 minutes and 5 seconds remain in regulation. It'll be interesting to see potentially the Rock Lobsters and the Thunderbirds could potentially tie on points to end the season. And part of the reason why that'll be interesting is I've seen conflicting information on what would be the first tiebreaker. I've seen that it's head-to-head record, but I've seen recently that it also might be who has the most regulation wins. If it's head-to-head record, it would benefit the Rock Lobsters. If it's regulation wins, it would benefit Carolina. Shinkarik takes a whack, still gets it in. Powell with a shot. Goes Powell in the netting. Pushing and shoving between Powell and Balkwill. And now Stafora getting some pushing and shoving from Balkwill. Balkwill throwing the old grabbing the jersey jabs. I don't know how you can allow that to that degree. Steve Martinson out from his perch to the front row. Look, it almost looks like Powell against the world here. Smith getting in the face of McDonald right in front of the River Dragon penalty box. It looks like both Powell and McDonald will sit. Let's try to look for answers here on what the call is going to be for both Powell and McDonald. Andrew Stafora, I can't tell if his jersey's ripped. I believe it is. He's got a shoulder pad being exposed. Staffora's leaving the ice here. He's being followed by, or rather he's following equipment manager Tommy McDonald into the locker room. Not sure if it's because, I wouldn't think it was an injury, because then he would be followed by Chris McNeely. Steve Martinson letting his thoughts be known to the referees who are right in between the two benches. Still looking for answers here on how the penalties are going to work themselves out. Scoreline is 2-1 in favor of Columbus. But of course, the Rock Lobsters' lone goal has come on the power play. They would definitely benefit off having another man advantage. It looks like they're keeping it 5 apiece here. listening for the penalties. Malik Johnson with a rip from the left circle. One-timer from Shinkarik. Here come the River Dragons the other way. Left circle shot. Kicked away from Papa Petros. One-timed by Hatcher into the glove of William Lavalier. So they just read out the penalties here. Stafora and Powell gone for unsportsmanlike conduct. McDonald and Powell also serve roughing minors. McDonald and Balkwill. Sitting for Columbus, Stafora was gone to the locker room, but he had a penalty along with Kyle Powell. I'm not sure what all Stafora had to do with that. Awkward bounce off the end boards, trying to cash in there was, I believe, Brody Thornton. No, it was the college prospect signing out of Adrian College, Nash Hatcher. A little bit of officiating that brings the line out. It is what it is. Face off to the left of Lavalier. Greco out to the right. Lofted high by Weisblatt, but Thornton with the vertical, able to keep it from being sent out. Michael Greco is able to complete that job, however. Sent in long by the Columbus. Weisblatt picks it up. Daniil Glukaryov. Lost a grasp of it right after Milan had made a bolt into the zone. And the Rock Lobsters get whistled for offsides. Bersani and Murray, who have had pretty animated conversations in this one, are awaiting to be let out from the penalty box. And they'll make their way back to their respective benches, but not before Murray continues to get into the ear of Bersani. Had the team photo shoot at the arena the other day. Troy Murray skated up to me and said, "Hey, Mateen, haven't seen you since I got back. Just wanted to say it's good to see you." And I returned the pleasantries, said, "Murr, it's great to have you back, man. We missed you." It was a fun time shooting the team photo, but I'm very lucky wearing some nice dress shoes on the ice that I did not completely bust my butt. Columbus with a win on the draw. And this is going to be icing against the hosts. A reminder that we'll be back here tomorrow, and always a different puck drop time, Saturday to Friday here in Columbus. So not 7:35 like it was tonight, but 7:05 tomorrow. Columbus able to get it out after the faceoff. A lot of claws up in the chat as the Rock Lobsters try to chase down Columbus, who has a 2-1 lead here. Glukaryov. Backhand pop out to the far side. Thornton, U-turn right in front of his own bench. Loose play with the puck there from Lind, but able to keep it away from Glukaryov. Chases it himself. Good stick work from Michael Greco, who then puts the pick on Lind to make sure he couldn't skate onto it. Spill from Hunter as he dumps it back in. Shinkarik. Backhand shift to the far side. Smith sends it in off the glass. Picard in the near corner, back where it came from, picked up by Columbus. Quarterback pass nearly fell for Hunter. Hunter has been stopped by Lavalier multiple times in this game. Perhaps unlucky to not have a goal in this one. Papapetros, hard off the boards. Turnover from Columbus in their defensive end. But a great pass forward. Rookie to rookie there. Plouffe to Hatcher. But no punctuation mark from the River Dragons. Will it come here, though? Wickline sending a power line wide on Lavalier. Plouffe dumps in from the red line. Lavalier, that imaginary trapezoid. Lynn picks it up. Sends it through the River Dragons logo. Wickline gets cut out by Papapetros. Shot from the slot. Save from Lavalier on Lind. Malik Johnson whistles it in. Thorin has to be careful. Jason Gallant bats it down out of midair. Joe Colatarsi shot wide on Babin. Malik Johnson unable to get any mustard on that one. Storjahan has it poked away from him by Colatarsi, but Bersani was there to continue towards Lavalier's net. Jason Gallant was almost able to sweep in a rebound on a Philip Virgili ease towards the net. Little poke check in the left circle, and Lavalier will cover. Hey, Rock Lobster fans, don't forget we've got one more watch party coming up to close out the regular season in style. Join us tomorrow night at Terrapin Tap Room for a fun-filled night with pregame festivities starting at 6:30 p.m. There'll be a food truck, awesome intermission prizes, and, of course, a special appearance from the one and only Claudius. Plus, fans will have a chance to tie-dye their very own Rock Lobster and Terrapin Beer Company T-shirts. How cool is that? Big shout-out to everyone who's joined us for our watch parties this season. You've brought the energy, the passion, and the love. We can't wait to do it with you one more time Saturday night for one last celebration. Rock Lobsters trying to tie this game at 2 apiece. 12 minutes and 1 second left in the third period. We'll be back after this break. It's a historic season for all the hockey fans in Athens, and how can you celebrate without beer? The Athens Rock Lobster Clawshank Redemption is available exclusively at Terrapin Tap Room. Terrapin, do the right thing, always. Crustacean Nation, it's time to gear up before playoff season. Our Spring in a Savings sale is happening now through Sunday evening with 25 to 30% off select items online at shop.rocklobstershockey.com. Hoodies, hats, and more while supplies last. And for everyone who's been waiting, the moment is finally here. Our red, navy, and white game replica jerseys are officially restocked. Grab yours online or at the team store. These never stay on the shelves long, so don't miss your shot. Shot on goal tally still heavily in favor of Columbus. Puck pinballing around the left circle. Rock Lobsters come away with it. Daniil Glukaryov trying to stiff arm not one but two River Dragons. Nice little toe drag from Milan. Tries to lay the body on Underwood. Somero backhand feed to Bersani on the near side. Awkward bounce. Columbus can't settle it. Taken away by the Rock Lobsters in the neutral ice. Glukaryov tries to center it, but no Crustacean is there to answer. $11:20 to go. Ooh, another awkward bounce off the board. Shinkarik hard through the crease. All that was missing was the finish from Glukarioff at the back door. Lavalier helps it to Murray. Batted out of midair by Greco. Moore to the near side. Moore on hat trick watch. Greco cuts the ice with a pass towards Smith. Columbus has done a really good job at pinning Athens into their zone for a big portion of this game, and Lavalier forced into another save. Ten and a half minutes remain in regulation. The Rock Lobsters still on search for shot on goal number 20 of this contest. Zach Papapetros appears to have found something wrong with the face-off circle here. This game being played at the tightest of margins. Storjahan gets blocked by a close distance. Robertson picks it up. 6'6" defenseman showing a little bit of speed. Comes free for Virgili. Slehetka getting body on body there. Whistle is blown. Loic Plouffe and Malik Johnson getting face to face. Loic Plouffe, just 20 years old, was a high-scoring player in the Quebec Junior Hockey League. Virgili off the boards of Columbus's bench. Casey Gallant with speed over the center of the line. Great shot, stings the palm of Babin, who makes the save. One of the best opportunities in the third period for the Rock Lobsters. On the other side, a glove save from Lavalier. We go to another media timeout. More than half of this third period has been played. The Rock Lobsters looking to tie things up. Will it happen for them in this contest? Stay tuned here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network and find out.
Since we opened in 1968, we've taken pride in our professional staff. Unparalleled customer service is our legacy. Experience the best, skilled hands and friendly faces. At Stanfield Air Systems, satisfaction is not just a guarantee, it's our tradition. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
Classic City Flats is a brand new apartment community in Athens, Georgia that redefines luxury living, offering a sleek and contemporary living experience. Our impeccably designed apartment homes boast sophisticated interiors, premium amenities, and exquisite finishes, providing residents with an unparalleled downtown living experience. Classic City Flats is excited to deliver luxury apartments that set the new standard of sophisticated living in Athens, Georgia. Classic City Flats, redefining your horizon of living. There's still a window of opportunity for this game and for this night to be a good one for the Rock Lobsters, currently down 2-1. But still an opportunity for them to win this game down just a goal. 9 minutes and 49 seconds to try and ripple the net. Meanwhile, in Monroe, Carolina and the Moccasins are tied at 2 apiece, waiting for the third period to start there. Faceoff is going to be to the left of Lavalier. Milan wins it off of Jemayev. Weisblatt through the legs to Milan. Milan, left circle, all the way around to Shinkarik, who stops it at the point. Kyle Powell, back in a defensive position, puck loose out in front. Glukarioff just misses. Think that one went off the post. And it looks like we're going to have a fight here after all. Guess who? Kyle Powell. On the other side, it'll be Bersani. Or excuse me, it's Doherty. Powell tries that right hand, overhand from Doherty, and Powell with a trip. But Powell's back up at his feet now. The referee is still trying to get in between them, and that's difficult. Two big boys, Doherty at 6'5" and Powell at 6'6". A heavyweight fight, to say the least. Both men will sit 5 for fighting. You can tell Powell is frustrated after just lost his feet under him. It wasn't anything that he took from Doherty that got him down. Both Underwood and Shinkarik getting explanations. It should be pretty 1, 2, 3. Well, you can hear is Doherty firing up the fans from the penalty box. Great fan base they have here in Columbus. Needless to say, they don't have the best one in the FPHL in the state of Georgia. But look, it could be a difficult place to come and play. There is 2 minutes of a penalty up there for Doherty. Very, very interesting. Are the Rock Lobsters heading to the power play here? It looks like it will be 5-on-4. The Rock Lobsters to the Paloma Park power play. They've already earned fans free churros for 24 hours through the FanSaves app. Gallant, left circle, back to Shinkarik. Gallant, centering pass. Shinkarik stops it with his body. Don't know if he knew much about it. Uh-oh, taken away from Jemayev. Stings the palms of Lavalier, who stands tall. Doherty also getting called for an elbowing minor, along with his fight with Powell. Weisblatt unable to force a centering pass through. Weisblatt back to Milan. Shinkarik winding it up. One time's a pass toward Gallant. A minute to go on this power play. Will it prove crucial for Athens? Shinkarik dancing through, finds Weisblatt on the far side. Drop pass, intercepted by Storjahan and sent 200 feet down. Shinkarik. Time running out here, not just on this power play, but in regulation for the Rock Lobsters. Papa Petros, right in front of the slot, sends a shot that goes high. 10 seconds to go. Is there one last rush here for Athens with a man up? Kolatarsi able to get it in, but Rock Lobster still looking to get something on the puck right now as it's sent back in. Never reached the goal line for icing as these two teams are back at even strength. Moore on the near side. Able to absorb the hit there. Ryan Hunter gets stuffed out again. Puck loose out in front. Swept away by Athens. Avery Smith with 4 River Dragons on him. Down to his knees, dumps it in. Moore almost has it poked away from him by Smith. Puck finds a way to McDonald. Hunter off the skates of Underwood. Great defensive work there from Milan. Shinkarik getting tied up with the Columbus captain in the corner. Columbus has dealt with the dump and chase really well from the Rock Lobsters in this game. And meanwhile, on the other side, Athens have found it difficult to transition from their defensive ice. As we saw there, what a save from Lavalier on Jamaev. A little bit of extras after from Columbus, and the Rock Lobsters frustrated, taking exception to it. But it looks like Greco will sit for a penalty, but I believe there was one on the other side for Columbus as well. Greco, who knows this building well, he's played the most games in his professional career for the Columbus River Dragons. And of course, one of the best chirpers, one of the best trash talkers in the league, using one of his weapons in the penalty box there. Looks like we'll keep it 5 aside. Monroe Moccasins up 3-2. Looks like we will do 4-on-4 here. Looks like a timeout has been called. We are still steadily approaching playoff season at Aikens Ford Arena. Let's turn the tank into one of the loudest barns in the league. It already has been all season long, but you're not going to want to miss your chance to witness every playoff hit, goal, and game-winning moment as the Rock Lobsters will be on the hunt for the ultimate prize. Postseason tickets are on sale now. Grab yours at rocklobstershockey.com or scan the QR code on your screen. Let's pack the tank and make some playoff magic, because in the postseason, teams are going to learn to hashtag fear the claw. Still a lot of time left in this one for the Rock Lobsters to tie it up. But if the results in both games here and in Monroe stay, there will still be a chance for the Rock Lobsters to potentially take care of business tomorrow. They will just need another win from the Moccasins. It's been a bad night for glass here in the Columbus Civic Center. Because of that, we will go back to a commercial break. Rock Lobsters trying to tie this one up and potentially take the top spot in the Continental tonight. More on that to come.
At Athens Stonecasting, Don Hill oversees acres of sculptures poured from thousands of molds, endless possibilities for neighbors who envision unique gardens. Craig Meeks at First American Bank and Trust caught that vision. Together, Don and Craig create solutions that keep the business teeming with new gifts for the garden. Vision. It's one of the core convictions we live by. Learn more about what we stand for at firstamericanishere.com. First American Bank and Trust.
Hey, Rock Lobster fans, don't forget we've got one more watch party coming up to close out the regular season in style. Join us tomorrow night at Terrapin Tap Room for one more fun-filled night with pregame festivities starting at 6:30 p.m. There'll be a food truck, awesome intermission prizes, and a special appearance from the one and only Claudius. Plus, fans will have a special opportunity to tie-dye their very own Rock Lobsters and Terrapin Beer Company t-shirts. Big shout out to everyone who's joined us for the Terrapin Taproom watch parties this season. You've brought the energy, you've brought the passion, and of course, you've brought the love. We can't wait to see you again Saturday night for one last celebration. It's a historic season for all the hockey fans in Athens, and how can you celebrate without beer? The Athens Rock Lobster Clawshank Redemption is available exclusively at Terrapin Taproom. Terrapin, do the right thing, always. Wow, another tied game as Monroe and Carolina now even at 3 apiece. Any dropped points from Carolina benefits the Rock Lobsters, but it would really benefit them more if they are able to find a win in this game, especially in regulation. But the light at the end of the tunnel is getting more and more narrow. The Rock Lobsters have to force it to get wider here. 4-on-4, these two teams skating now. Ooh, hard centering pass, loose out in front, backhanded towards Lavalier, who makes the double save. The second of which on the red-hot wick line. Philip Virgili over on the left side, looking for a pass. It's past Murray. Murray hard toward the net. Virgili didn't get the second effort on it. Virgili in the right circle towards Murray, backhanded. Babin with the save. Babin has not been as busy as Lavalier on the night, but when he's had to make the big save, he's had. Offensive zone face-off on the 4-on-4 for Athens. Milan wins it. Shinkarik, Glukaryov. Shinkarik with a one-timer into the midsection of Babin. We go back to the commercial break here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. Still on search for goal number 2 in this one for Athens.
At Athens Stonecasting, Don Hill oversees acres of sculptures poured from thousands of molds, endless possibilities for neighbors who envision unique gardens. Craig Meeks at First American Bank and Trust caught that vision. Together, Don and Craig create solutions that keep the business teeming with new gifts for the garden. Vision. It's one of the core convictions we live by. Learn more about what we stand for at firstamericanishere.com. First American Bank and Trust.
When you're the leader, disaster cleanup and restoration, how do you make like it never even happened happen? Fire it up, Randy! By being prepared for anything! Whatever comes your way, there's a pro for that.
Serve pro, like it never even happened.
Less than 5 minutes to go in regulation, but we are familiar with last gasp finishes in the Columbus Civic Center. The first game played between these two teams, it was Kaysen Gallant who was able to shove a equalizer with 6 seconds to go in regulation. The Rock Lobsters would end up winning that game in shootout. The River Dragons have been able to control the pace of this game. But anything can happen in crunch time in this beautiful sport. Still more than a minute of 4-on-4 remains. Underwood with speed over the red line. Almost didn't take the puck with him. Has it back in his possession. Wraps around the net, passes to the point, into the far corner. Papapetros with a swat in there on Jemayev. Jemayev now on the near side. Puck comes loose over the stick of Plouffe. Loic Plouffe out of Gatineau, Quebec. High-scoring player in the Quebec Junior Hockey League for the Gatineau Flames this season. Jemayev U-turns, finds McDonald. McDonald takes the poke from Virgili. Gets it in off the end boards. Slahecka tries a clever move, is impeded by Athens. Kaysen Gallant picks up the loose puck. Gallant, good move. Into the far side. Shinkarik backhands it toward Murray. Murray made the step up. Kaysen Gallant, a beautiful play. But sometimes the beautiful play goes against the rules. He gets whistled for a high stick. Now 3.5 minutes. The River Dragons are able to close out this game that would put them 5-6 against the Rock Lobsters this year. McDonald, clean face-off win. I'm trying to figure out what the River Dragon fans are cheering here. It almost sounds like 3-on-3, but that would mean overtime. I don't think that's what they want. Gallant rifles one in. Kolatarsi over his glove, picked back up by Murray. If any of you are in the crowd, let me know in the chat what you hear the River Dragon fans cheering here. Malik Johnson back out to Virgili on the far side. Centering pass, loose out in front. Malik Johnson was pushed into the net, which has come off its moorings. Catherine Harding saying that it's free Doherty. That makes more sense. Smith over the dot. He'll go up against Hatcher, who's still in single digits of pro games played. Hard off the boards from Greco. Picard. Centering feeds to Fora, gets blocked. Good to see him back in play. Storjahan, good stick handling move. Papapetros able to poke it away initially from Hatcher, who was still able to center a pass. Only person that was there was Stafora. Slaps it right past Babin off the end boards hard. Avery Smith has chased it in the offensive zone. Oh, a collision there between two Rock Lobsters. Storjahan trying to make himself the beneficiary. Just wide on Lavalier. It's been that kind of night for Athens. Baker from Weisblatt toward Glukaryov. Glukaryov gets ahead of Slahecka, but once again sent towards the empty net, which is now the case for the Rock Lobsters. Extra man on here. Will that be the recipe for the Rock Lobsters in this one? Weisblatt almost stops it at the line, but everybody will have to regroup in neutral ice. That one out of the rink after it was tipped in at the blue line from Glukaryov. Doherty has been released. To fan applause here at the Columbus Civic Center. A minute and 5 remains. Steve Martinson calls the timeout. They're going to need to draw something here right out of the faceoff because it's a must-win draw here for the Rock Lobsters. You don't give yourselves a good chance if you lose the faceoff with the empty net. Let's take a quick look at some of the scorers around the league. Got a feel for the Dashers as the Blue Ridge Bobcats have made the comeback and won that game 5-3. Port Huron Prowlers take a game against their in-state rivals, the Motor City Rockers, in overtime. And a tied game at 3 apiece in Monroe between the Thunderbirds and the Moccasins. Rock Lobsters with the extra forward on. But a must-win face-off here as Milan lies up against Bersani. It looks like they will send Lavalier back out on the ice. Athens wins the faceoff. Sent in by the Rock Lobsters. Lavalier back to the bench. Weisblatt gathers it in front of the empty net. Milan to Shinkarik. Last 45 seconds of play. Loose. Out in front. And Somero buries the empty netter. Shinkarik showing his displeasure on a twig on their cage, and it looks like it's going to be the River Dragons who will take the spoils in this first game of the 2-game set. If you're a glass half full person like myself, the Rock Lobsters were likely to play the Columbus River Dragons in the first round of the playoffs. Now, my philosophy is with so many consecutive games against one team, it's hard to get the sweep there. So you're playing potentially this team for 5 straight games. Now, not a perfect parallel there, but I've always thought about Georgia football and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Whenever the Bulldogs would face Alabama in the SEC National Championship and then go against them in the playoffs, I would say to myself, look, you're not beating Alabama twice. So sometimes it benefits you to not win the SEC Championship. Columbus, a very, very good team over the years here in the FPHL. They might not be the Alabama of the Fed this season. However, the Rock Lobsters feeling out their potential playoff opponents as we enter the last regular season game of the season. Tomorrow night here in the Columbus Civic Center. Puck will drop there at 7:05, but Rock Lobster fans, don't forget, we've got one more watch party coming up to close out the regular season in style. Join us tomorrow night at Terrapin Tap Room for a fun-filled night with pregame festivities starting at 6:30 p.m. There will be a food truck, awesome intermission prizes, and a special appearance from the one and only Claudius. Plus, fans will have a chance to tie-dye their very own Rock Lobsters and Terrapin Beer Company t-shirts. Big shout-out to everyone who's joined us for our Terrapin Tap Room watch parties this year. You've brought the energy, the passion, and the love. We can't wait to see you again tomorrow night for one last celebration. Unfortunately, not going to be a celebration tonight as the boys will try to regroup after this 3-1 loss against their in-state rival. It is looking more and more likely that these will be the two teams that face off in the first round of the Commissioner's Cup playoffs. Taking a quick look over at the game between the Columbus River Dragons and the Monroe Moccasins. It remains tied at 3 apiece. Now, if that game goes into overtime and the Thunderbirds are able to only get 1 point out of it, then there is still life for the Rock Lobsters to take the top spot. It would take another Monroe win tomorrow and for the Athens to even up, the Athens Rock Lobsters to even up this 2-game set with Columbus. Interesting here. Interesting. A lot to consider as we go into the final game of the regular season and the playoff implications really for the Carolina Thunderbirds and the Athens Rock Lobsters. They're the only teams really that still have something to sort out before the regular season ends. Perhaps that'll happen tonight for Carolina if they're able to win in regulation. More on that to come. We will talk about that on tomorrow's broadcast. Join me here tomorrow night, 7:05 puck drop between the Athens Rock Lobsters and the Columbus River Dragons for the last regular season game of the Rock Lobster season. Can't wait to have you here, but also can't wait for playoffs. We'll see you then as well.